Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I want to welcome all of you today and thank you for spending your Saturday with District 22 Toastmasters. I believe we have several attendees from other districts as well, so I want to extend a special welcome to you. Last year, we were forced to cancel our planned conference due to the onset of the pandemic and our novice experience in hosting large events virtually. This year, although we're still not in person, we have planned a fun-filled day with dynamic speakers, trivia, contests, and the election of our 2021-2022 district officers. If you haven't done so already, please rename yourself to include the letter of the education session you want to attend in front of your first and last name. The options, as noted in the chat, are L for improv with Larry Wilson, C for the session with Cody Isabel, and J for the session with Julie Olmstead. I want to give a special shout out to our conference chair, Samantha Cook, for all her hard work in making this conference a success. In the past, we have had a parade of banners where each member that was part of a club got to parade down the room with their banner. But in a virtual setting, that wasn't possible. But Samantha came up with a creative way to still have that recognition of all our clubs that have a member representative today. And thank you for that wonderful video, Samantha. It is my pleasure at this time to introduce Mike Edwards, who is a member of 3 clubs, Empowered to Speak Toastmasters, Sunday Speakeasy Toastmasters, and the Masters Club. Mike will be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance for us. Please welcome Mike Edwards.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll now be followed by Mary Nord.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were still gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Mike and Mary, for helping us open our District 21 or 22 annual conference with patriotism and song. That was truly inspirational. Giving our inspirational moment with some international flair is distinguished Toastmaster Maslin Prosper Mayberry. Maslin is a member of the Junction City, Manhattan, and Power Cat Masters Toastmasters clubs. Please welcome Maslin as she presents My Island Heritage. Maslin.
Bonjour tout le monde, ça qu'a fait? Good morning, everyone. How are you? Have you been on vacation with your spouse? And when it was time to return home, one of you changed your minds for all the wrong reasons. Rewind. We planned the perfect vacation to my island home, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica is not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. It is geographically situated in the Lesser Antilles, nestled between the French islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique. It is also between two bodies of water, the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean. It is affectionately called the Nature Isle of the Caribbean for its natural environment, lush rainforests, towering mountains, rushing rivers, welcoming waterfalls, the famous Emerald Pool, and volcanic wonders, the Boiling Lake, and the hot springs. All the reasons to have a fantabulous vacation. Did you know Dominica is also a natural botanical garden? It has an array of faunas and floras, plants and animal life indigenous only to the island. So, are you inspired yet? Come along with me on this journey. We planned to lodge with my sister. I have two sisters living on the island. We were going to visit the elder and many other family and friends. Imagine leaving Kansas in the wintertime to go party in the Caribbean. That was my thought. I want to have fun away from the snow. We danced, we partied, we went to the different carnival events, calypso tent. The streets were filled, just littered with a plethora of people. Lots of them were dressed like it was Mardi Gras. My family and friends, they joined us in the streets. Early morning, Juve, we call it the big mashup, where everybody come out in the street and jump up behind the big truck. The big truck is either loud blasting music in the streets or the pan music. So exhilarating. When they say raise your flag, I'm raising my flag, okay? I have my Dominica flag. I brought it with me and I raised it very high. All the events finalized with Tre Vaval, the French for Kill Carnival. The people walk around the night of the last evening of Carnival, they walk around with a coffin, a regular coffin, with the idea of Carnival inside of it. And then, guess what? We jump up in the street again. My sister took us to the Kalinago tribe, where my ancestry on my grandmother's side lives. It's a Carib Indian tribe, and they are responsible for killing Carnival. We actually bury it until the next year. While we were there, all the beautiful people were talking to hubby, and he decided he was enamored with the beautiful and fabulous Kalinago tribe. The tribal people are a fierce Caribbean island people who migrated there many, many years before the regular Africans, and they fought to be there. So they are the original peoples of Dominica. We got ready to go, and somebody did not want to leave. My sister said, come on, tell your husband we're ready to go. He said to me, oh, I'm not ready to go. I'm not leaving yet. I'm like, dude, we got to go. This is our last day to party. We got to go. He says, no, y'all took me to the beautiful people's last. We should have been here and partied here with the beautiful people. I said, babe, you know, I'm those people. They are my peoples. My sister said, is he coming with us or not? I said, you know what? He's the Texan. He gonna talk them to death. They will get tired of him, expel him out of there, I'll give him 24 hours at best. As we got ready to turn off and leave, he comes, he says, it's okay, I'm gonna go. Because you know what? All I would have done was talk to them about building a new Toastmasters club there. My sister looked at him, and I looked at him too, because I'm a Toastmaster. I know what that entails. He was so interested in meeting the people, but all he wanted to do was talk to them about building a club on the reservation. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not how a vacation is supposed to go. But for a fellow Toastmaster, what do you expect? He sought out new opportunities to build a new club, meet beautiful people, and talk about Toastmasters. I thank you very much. And here, Madam Contest Chair, have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maslin, for those words of inspiration and sharing some funny, humorous stories about your vacation with Shed back to the Dominica Island. At the beginning of this Toastmasters year, the trio had developed a vision for the district, exploring growth and excellence in a supportive environment. We knew it was going to be a challenging year, not knowing how long the pandemic would last. And our three strategies for achieving the vision were going to be: 1, increase membership retention while minimizing club loss; 2, adopting pathways 100%; and 3, helping members find the value of being a Toastmaster at the club and district levels. I feel we have made good progress towards these goals, but we still have a lot of work to do in the next 2 months. Last night, Terry Ann Porter shared a speech with the District Executive Committee entitled "A New Path Emerges." She described how Pathways is the most recent change of many changes that have happened to Toastmasters International over the course of the last 96 years. The last time the education program changed, members had a hard time accepting it too, but eventually attitudes turned around. The same attitude change needs to happen with Pathways. Clubs need to ensure that new members are getting the orientation they need to get started in Pathways right away. Officers need to be role models to their members by working on Pathways projects and helping their members navigate through base camp. Like any new change, it takes practicing over and over until it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, my hope is that you have found the value in being a Toastmaster at both the club and district levels. I think today's conference is going to be a great opportunity to learn new things and participate in wonderful sessions. At this time, I'd like to introduce your Program Quality Director, Dan Arbuckle, to share some opening thoughts. Dan?
Thank you very much, Joanne. As Joanne said, it's been an interesting year. And many of us have been working on those Pathways projects. To that point, over 470 awards so far this year from individuals. We've had 52 people complete a Triple Crown so far, and there's still time to go. We just started the month of May. We still have 2 months. We have clubs that have already become distinguished: A Taste of Success Toastmasters, Barry Lawrence Toastmasters, Lenexa Toastmasters, Professionally Speaking Toastmasters, Springfield Toastmasters, Toastmasters Unlimited, and Top Box Toastmasters. We have many clubs that are almost there. They either have the education awards they need to be distinguished, and just need a member or two, or they have the members and just need a point or two. If we all work hard at this, we can easily have over 40 clubs distinguished in the next 2 months. That's a part of us achieving the excellence that we all want to achieve and get out of Toastmasters what we want. As we progress over the next months, some of us will be meeting in person, we'll be having hybrid meetings, And we'll still use Zoom to keep doing the things that we've been doing and learn from that and keep adapting. We have 5 people that have achieved a DTM, and I'm sure there's others of us that are out there working hard at that right now. As long as we keep working together, we can finish this year strong and be ready to start the next year and a great foot forward as well. Since we have our next speaker that has been trying to start clubs in outer space and everywhere else, it's my pleasure to introduce to you your Club Growth Director, Shed Mayberry.
Good morning, District 22. Happy May Day. This is an ancient festival of spring celebrated in many European countries. So I want to say happy May Day since I spent 12 years of those in Germany. As many areas are starting to open up across Kansas and Western Missouri, I want to advise everyone to please continue to be safe. Continue to make sure you're wearing your mask, maintaining your social distances if you're meeting back in person, and please get vaccinated. That's the only way we're going to get through this, all right, is to make sure everyone is safe and get the vaccination. That is how we're going to get back to normal, all right? We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forward. Club growth, of the 88 clubs right now, we currently have 73 clubs in good standing. Great job, but we have a lot of work to do. We want to make sure we leave no club behind. Our mission at the beginning of the year, set out by Joanne, was 100% of clubs not lost. So let's continue to work and get all of our 88 clubs in good standing. I've already put a stipulation out to the trio that we will finish over 80 clubs before we go into July. So that is my reputation on the line, and I am working hard to make sure that we achieve that goal. Congratulations, we did grow 1 club over this past year, and I want to thank Marla for doing that. And we do have a couple of other clubs in the works right now. I'm trying to get them closed out before the end of June. So continue to work on that. We currently have 47 club visits closed out. I am encouraging, if you're an area director, division director, please go out. I know a lot of you are doing the right thing, but let's get those club visits submitted. It is not a check the box. It is making sure our clubs are doing the right thing and any assistance that we can help. We are still waiting on the results of the Talk Up Toastmasters. As soon as we get that, we will put that out and recognize those clubs that have met the requirements for Talk Up Toastmasters. Beat the Clock starts today, May 1st through 30 June. Any club that adds 5 new members, dual or reinstated members, will receive a Beat the Clock ribbon, 10% off the TI store, and be eligible to split a $200 TI gift certificates. So please, the work has not stopped just because the end of March is here. We still have until 30 June to the end of the Toastmaster year. Continue working, and membership is always ongoing. Thank you for your participation today. Looking forward to some good training, and we still want to start that first club on the moon. Thank you.
Thank you, Shed. And I think you're definitely the one that could do that if possible. I just want to also make note that for any of our club presidents and vice presidents of education, other district council members, that just want to let you know that you will be receiving your ballots, which is normally you would get your credentials at the meeting beforehand. You'll be getting those ballots sent during the council meeting right before the vote. So just want to make you aware of that. And we also just want to let you know that the registration for that has ended. So unfortunately, if you have not registered as a club president or vice president of education, that registration is closed. I would also like to just note that as part of the district conference committee, Samantha has spent a lot of time really planning this out well. And I just want to really give her kudos for all that she has done. Dan Arbuckle has been on the committee as well, helping out our Zoom masters, Terry Ann Porter and Cheryl Reynolds today. We couldn't do it without them. So thank you very much for your participation and help with our meeting today. I know we are running a little earlier than planned, and in order to allow folks that are maybe watching live on YouTube, we are waiting to introduce our keynote speaker until closer to 9:30, just so that members that are watching via YouTube don't miss our great keynote speaker. I just want to reiterate again some of what Shed and Dan said, that we have lost a few clubs this year, or that have gone to and suspended. But we have several clubs that we can still get their numbers up, and as Shed mentioned, get to a point of being in good standing and raise our numbers to the 80 mark. It has been a challenging year, and don't want it to, I'm not trying to bring it down, the inspiration that we received from Maslin and the excitement that we are looking forward to. I just want to share that we have a lot of work to do going forward, and really count on each of you to go back to your clubs and really support them and encourage them to get more involved in pathways and district leadership, or even club leadership. I know many of you are probably getting ready to do your nominations and club elections. So that is one thing to encourage your members to step up to being a club officer. That's part of the Toastmasters promise, is to be an officer when asked to do so. And it might just be a matter of reminding our club members of their Toastmaster promise, that when they signed that form, to be an applicant or to be a member of the club, that's what they were really committing to, was to do that promise, and to encourage members to come to your club, or guests to come to your club, and look forward to the excitement of being a Toastmaster. I'm going to go ahead and move into our next segment, in which I'd like to introduce our immediate past district director, Stephanie Schrader, Distinguished Toastmaster Stephanie Schrader, who will introduce our keynote speaker. Welcome, Stephanie.
Oh, I think we're far enough apart. I'll take off my mask. Good morning, District 22 members and guests. I'm Stephanie Schrader, your immediate past district director. I think this is one of the last times I get to say that. This morning, I have the honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Luisa Montalvo was born and raised in Texas. She later moved to, she was raised in South Texas, and then she moved to Austin, Texas, where she worked for Abbott Laboratories for 25 years. She retired at the age of 53. Who wouldn't want to retire at 53? And has been very busy rescuing homeless dogs and cats and driving them to New York for the past 3 years. She has fostered and cared for over 850 homeless dogs. She first joined Toastmasters in 1989 for 3 years when she worked at Abbott Laboratory. Then she rejoined in 2013 and has been a member ever since. She competed in the 2019 Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking against 33,000 other contestants from 143 countries. She made it to the final stage where she took second place. Please help me give a warm District 22 welcome to our keynote speaker today, Luisa Montalvo, as she presents Stop, Look, Listen. Luisa Montalvo.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible? Oh, let me go to gallery view so I can get some acknowledgement. Yes, audible?
Yes.
Excellent. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Good morning, District 22. It is an honor for me to be here to be your keynote. My speech will be divided up into 3 different sections, and then I'll conclude. So, with your permission, District 22, here we go. Section 1. From Stop, Look, and Listen. I might be having some problems with this laptop because I bought it at the flea market, so I'm not sure if that was a good choice or not. It might be a mistake, but we'll find out later. All right then, story time for Stop. For those of you that don't know me, like my introduction stated, I retired at 53, and I've been having a blast. Of course, I thought being retired, I'd be able to sit on the sofa and watch Ellen and Oprah and stay in my pajamas all day. And COVID kind of let me do that for a little bit. So that was fun. But really, I've actually gotten into rescuing homeless dogs, something I never thought I would be doing at my age. About 3 years ago, a lady that I volunteer for in New York called me and said, Luisa, there's a dog there at the shelter close to where you live. And I think he's got a broken leg. Can you go pick him up and maybe rehabilitate him, work on him? Absolutely, I said. Well, when I got down there, there was a beautiful 40-pound Carolina dog, but he didn't have a broken leg. In fact, he had been dragging himself on the streets of the South Texas for about a week because a car had hit him and his back was completely broken in two. He was paralyzed from the waist down. I let my friend in New York know, and she said, rush him to the vet. I took him to the vet. The vet showed me the x-rays. He looked at me and said, Luisa, I suggest you put him down. You need to euthanize him. He won't have a quality of life. Why won't he have a quality of life? Well, because someone's going to have to change his diapers. Someone's going to have to express his bladder. I can do that. I'm really not doing anything right now. I can do that. So the story of Finn and I started. I took him home. I learned how to express his bladder. I changed his diapers. And then I actually started transporting dogs to New York City. That's about a 36-hour drive with usually 40 to 50 dogs in my bus that I just bought. Finn knew that he had a special place right behind me in his crate. I had to take him with me because I really couldn't trust anybody to express his bladder properly. He loves going to New York. In fact, he knows. I'll say, Papa, it's time to go. And he'll hop on the bus, he'll get behind his crate, and there he knows everything's going to be fun from there on. Back in February, South Texas experienced a really harsh, cold day. In fact, it was so cold, we had snow. We never have snow in South Texas, ever. That's when I got the call, February 17th. The lady in New York called me and said, hey, Luisa, can you help us out? We're about to euthanize 40 dogs at the local shelter just because of the cold, harsh storm that's coming. I said, you do know we are having a blizzard coming through? We are going to get snow? She said, yes, but if you don't go and get these dogs, they're going to euthanize them. Well, Finn, it's time to jump on the bus. We need to go to New York. I went and picked up the 40 dogs, picked up my friend who was going to help me drive, and off we set to New York in a snow blizzard. As I was driving, it hadn't even been more than an hour out of South Texas, and I hit the first bridge. If you don't know too much about snow, whenever you hit a bridge, you need to be careful because usually it's iced over. And that's exactly what had happened to this bridge. As I was going over in my bus, instead of going north and south, hit black ice and started to go east and west, sliding down the bridge. I turned to the left, and then I turned to the right, and then I turned to the left. And luckily, I was able to miss the concrete median by about a foot. I had yelled at my friend, we're going to wreck! And she immediately jumped up. After I pulled the bus over, she said, you know, Luisa, if that had been me driving, we would be dead right now. Remind me again why I brought you with me? Needless to say, the 36-hour trip turned into a 54-hour drive for me. For 54 hours, I clutched onto the steering wheel and prayed that I wouldn't hit black ice again. In Virginia, there were trees that had fallen over in the middle of the expressway that I had to dodge. There was a 4-foot pothole in Alabama that I hit, and luckily, the tires didn't explode. When we finally made it to New York at midnight, we were so lucky that nothing had happened to us. We unloaded the dogs, so about 3 in the morning, we were finishing up. I was so exhausted, mentally, physically. I just wanted to get to the hotel, have a shower, change, and then get ready for the next day. I wanted to rush home. I was worried about my mother in the storm. We make it to the hotel, and as I'm packing up my bag, my backpack, to get to the hotel, I turn around. I forgot to drop off Finn at the shelter where he usually stays. I was so tired, I had completely forgotten. He stayed there looking at me. Papa, I forgot to drop you off. It was now 4 in the morning, and I looked at the thermostat on my bus. It was 32 degrees outside, but inside my bus, it was 62 degrees since we'd been running the heater the whole time. I said, Papa, we've done this before. He and I had slept in a blizzard in Kentucky on the bus before. I gave him fresh food, fresh water. He finished his food. I gave him more food. I took a blanket. I covered him. And I said, I'll be right back. I'm just going to change, take a shower, and then we're heading home. And he looked at me as if he understood what I was saying. I went into the hotel, took a shower, got my clothes ready, and passed out. I woke up about 4 hours later, jumped out of bed, and I said, oh my gosh, we've got to go. We packed our bags, started walking out to the bus, and before we even turned the corner, I could see the police lights, the red and blue flashing. As I turned the corner, there was a detective, 3 police cars, and a tow truck. As I walked up to my bus, the officer said, excuse me, is that your vehicle? Yes, sir, it is. He said, ma'am, we've already removed your dog from the vehicle. We're towing your bus. And at the age of 61, for the first time in my life, I was arrested for leaving an animal on a vehicle. It was an egregious error, a mistake in my life that I will always remember. The one animal I was supposed to defend, I had let him down. This was terrible. I went to the first court date, and the judge gave me the fines, but he wouldn't give me my dog back. He said I didn't deserve to have a dog. And he was right. The second court date, he still wouldn't give me my dog back. Finally, on the third court date, which was April 9th, he allowed me to have my dog back. I had to pay the fine of $100. They also were boarding costs of $2,700. I paid that too. I guess the reason I'm sharing this with you is because now that I have my dog back, I realize this is the biggest mistake in my life. And you know what? We're all going to make mistakes. It's guaranteed. When you do make a mistake, there's 3 things I want you to do. Own your mistake, accept it and learn from it, and then move on. And that last one, moving on, that's probably been the hardest for me. I know people are going to judge me, and that's okay. We all judge. After this incident, I now look at things differently. The way my story was reported, there were many false things that they put in the newspaper, but positivity doesn't sell. Propaganda does, and that's okay. Like I said, I've owned it. I've learned from it. I'll never do it again, and now it's time for me to move on. I shared this story with you because I wanted you to hear it from me, what happened. If you ever come across my name and it says, South Texas woman leaves paralyzed dog in her vehicle, that was me. That was me. Again, we're all going to make mistakes. Stop beating yourself up about the past. Learn from it and move on. That concludes section 1 of STOP. Section 2, look. Look, Luisa, it's okay. There's always next year. I had tried for 7 years to make it to the district level in the international speech contest. I kept hearing that. Look, Luisa, it's okay. Move on. You can do this. Keep trying. How many times do I need to try? How many times was it going to take for me to get where I wanted to get? The question I had to ask myself was, how bad did I want to win? So that's the question you have to ask yourself when you're faced with something in life. How bad do you want it? I recently did a keynote for the district, my home district, District 55. And as I was preparing my speech, I realized I'm going to be speaking in front of a lot of people that have had the opportunity to judge me in contests. Some people will probably get mad and say, these people are the people that are holding me back. You know, that first year that I competed, I knew I had the winning speech. It was perfect. It was flawless. Did I place? No. I still remember driving home, crying, had my hands on the steering wheel and I almost couldn't see. I'm like, my God, why didn't you let me win? You know how much I wanted this. And I say my God because I don't want to offend some of you. I want to offend all of you. So asking my God, why didn't he let me win? He always answers me within time, and it became evident. I realize now, looking back, that if I had won that first year, I never would have made it to the finals. Ever. I wasn't good. I wasn't good enough. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And that's the beauty of Toastmasters. If you allow it to be able to change you, to reinvent yourself, that's an amazing ability that you need to acquire. I sat there the second year, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth year, still making it all the way to district, but yet never a placing. I remember a friend of mine saying, look, Luisa, every time you show up, I have to be honest, it doesn't look like you're having any fun. I think you're taking this too seriously. Me? Taking it too seriously? Doesn't she know the only reason I joined Toastmasters was to compete? Of course I'm taking it too seriously. This is what I want to do. I want to win. She was right. I was taking it too serious. I told myself, look, Luisa, if you don't ever win, it's okay. And so the seventh year, the last year that I told myself I was going to compete in 2019, I said, if I don't win this year, if I don't win at district, I'm done. And then something happened. I started to have fun. I had fun at my area contest because I had already told myself, if this doesn't happen now, it's going to be okay. I stopped taking myself seriously. And then I won an area. And then went on to division. District, I finally won first place. I was so happy. I remember I was loading up dogs in the van to get ready to head to New York. And ding, my phone went off. Congratulations, Luisa. You have now won at the regional level. What? I was so excited I was showing all the dogs. Look, look. They didn't care. They weren't there to support me. Those dogs. I then got a message that I was going to be going on to the semifinals. Wow. I couldn't believe it. And then when I was there in Colorado, I got on Facebook and I saw a comment. I didn't even know this gentleman, but he was from our district. And he had put on Facebook, we have someone going all the way to semifinals. She could actually win this year. What? I didn't even know this guy. Why was he saying that about me? If there's one thing I've learned, when you give your speech to family and friends to practice, they're all going to tell you, oh, that was wonderful. You were great. Loved it. You don't want those people evaluating you. You want strangers evaluating you because they will be brutally honest. Here was this stranger that I didn't even know, and he had put confidence in me that I didn't think I needed. You see, everybody telling you, oh, you're great. That was good. Awesome job. That's not what you want to hear if you want to become a better speaker. What you want is a true, honest evaluation. In fact, I remember giving a speech at the humorous contest in district, and I won first place. A gentleman came up to me and said, you know, that speech is okay here, but it wouldn't have worked in Boston, Massachusetts. Of course, the first thing that we do when somebody evaluates us is we usually get offended. I looked at him and I thought, well, and I even told him, thank God I wasn't competing in Boston, Massachusetts. I didn't know how to react, and then I stopped and thought, wait a minute. Luisa, ask him why it wouldn't work. Don't get offended. He's being brutally honest with you. I said, look, wait a minute. Why wouldn't this have worked in Boston? I was waiting for his response. You know what he told me? It just wouldn't. What am I supposed to do with that? It just wouldn't? You know, if he would have said, oh, in Boston, they don't like short Mexican ladies with triple chins. Okay, that I can work with. Now I know why it didn't work. People that evaluate you, ask them to be completely honest with you. Go with what strangers tell you. They're the ones that are going to tell you exactly what you need to hear to become a better speaker. This year, I did compete again. Because I thought, actually, I was finished competing. I got second place in the world. Who wouldn't want that? I realized, and I feel for Aaron Beverly so much, because had I won first place, all the places that he was invited to, Saudi Arabia, China, Europe, he didn't get to go because of COVID. I remember calling him and saying, Aaron, I am so sorry you didn't get to experience any of that. He said, Luisa, that's okay. When I won second place a few years ago, I was able to travel. You see how good that turned out? You see, here I thought I wanted to win first place in 2019. And had I won first place, I would have been robbed of all those places I could have traveled to and enjoyed. And I love traveling. So if there's one thing I've learned with my experience, it's this. Look, there's always next year. If there's something in your life you're looking forward to, and it doesn't happen right away, that's okay. It will happen. Keep striving. Keep trying to get there. You'll get there. That concludes part 2 of Stop, Look, and Listen. Part 3. Listen. I remember going up to my mother. I was mad. She was in the kitchen washing dishes. I said, Mother, I don't like living here anymore. I'm running away. She turned and looked at me. She said, Luisa, you're 5 years old. Where are you going? I said, I don't know, but I'm running away. And then she did something that a lot of us parents don't do. Instead of getting mad or telling me I should be grateful for having a roof over my head and food on the table, she asked me, why do you want to run away? Well, I don't like sharing the room with my brother. He makes funny noises in bed when we're asleep. I don't like sharing anything with him. I just don't like it here. Do you know what she told me? She said, you know what, Luisa? Sometimes I don't like it here either. Can I run away with you? What? You don't like it here either, Mom? Oh, your father comes home. He wants me to have dinner on the table. I've got to do laundry. I've got to work. I've got to keep this house clean. Sometimes I don't like it here either. Can I run away with you? I guess so. She said, okay, well, we're going to need some clothes. Go pack a few clothes. I ran to my room and got my little suitcase, and I packed my favorite shorts and a couple of shirts. I forgot to pack the underwear. Anyway, my mom said, we're going to need lunch and dinner, food. Let's pack some sandwiches. So she made some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and she poured some drinks, and we put it in Dad's thermos, and we packed it up, and she said, okay, we're ready. Let's run away. She kind of acted like she had done it before. I didn't know what to do, so I was following her lead. I remember we walked down the alley all the way to the end where they were just building the new expressway. She looked at me and said, you want to stay here? Are you hungry yet? I was very hungry. Yes, she says, let's eat here. Let's have a picnic and let's watch them build the new expressway. Okay. She took all the food out. She took out our drinks. We didn't say a word for about 20 minutes. We just sat there watching the construction people build the expressway. I kind of really felt like I wanted to go home, but I didn't want to admit to my mom that I missed being home. Maybe I really didn't want to run away. Maybe I needed to go back and correct what was going on to be able to have a roof over my head and food on the table. I remember looking at my mom. Mom? Yes, Luisa? Is it okay if we go back home? You don't want to run away anymore? No, I'm good. Okay, she said. So we packed up our little belongings and we walked back home. That's one of the best memories I have of my mom. She's in the early stages of Alzheimer's right now. She still remembers me, and that's good. And forgive me. See, she taught me to listen. And actually, Toastmasters taught me that too. You see, a lot of times when people speak, if I were to say, oh, I found a yellow kitten yesterday, then sometimes your mind wanders and you think, oh, kittens, I don't like kittens. I'm allergic to kittens. I'm glad I don't have kittens. That's why I'm glad I have my dog. But see, as a listener, you stopped listening. We stopped listening. And we start thinking about a response instead of listening to the speaker. A lot of times when somebody says something, we're afraid that they might ask us, well, what do you think? So we want to have a response ready. We're kind of doing the little mini table topics in our head, trying to get ready, when really we just need to listen. You see, my mom listened to me when I was 5 years old. She listened and heard that I was unhappy at home. I'm so grateful she did that. I know you're probably not going to believe this, but I'm kind of an attention hog. So anytime I would go over to my mom's house, I would walk in the door and say, Mom, guess what happened to me today? It was always about guess what happened to me. Now in her older years, I realize I need to listen. I walk into her house, I'm like, Mom, how are you doing? How's your day going? And I really, truly, genuinely want to know. A lot of the times, she doesn't remember what happened 5 minutes ago or an hour ago. But she does have long-term memory. So when I go over, I usually have dinner ready for her. We'll sit there and watch TV. And then I'll ask her, Mom, can you tell me about the day that you met Dad? And her face lights up. And she remembers, and she tells me the exact same story every single time. My parents were married for 57 years until he passed away. She misses him tremendously. And I didn't realize how much joy it brings if I ask her about him. I'm starting to listen. It's one of the best gifts we can give to anyone who needs us to listen. Toastmasters has changed me completely. My entire life. I look back now and realize everything that I learned back in 1989 when I first joined Toastmasters, I've been able to apply it to daily life. This has been so amazing. And then after winning or placing, actually, in 2019, I now have the opportunity to share my life, my stories, with people from all around the world. How amazing is that? Truly amazing. To all you Toastmasters out there who have dreams, who have aspirations, I want you to know this. If you have that goal of competing and winning on stage, I am no one special. All I did was say the right thing on the right day at the right time to the right judges. I am no one special. You can do this. Anyone can do this. So please take everything you learned from Toastmasters, use it in your everyday life. Don't forget to stop, look, and listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luisa, for sharing your stories with us this morning. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, and I learn something new every time I hear you. It is so exciting to hear about your stories with your dogs and sharing your memories with your mother, and it's just the encouragement that you give all of us that we can do it if we put our mind to it. So I know you have a busy day today. You have 2 other conferences or speaking engagements that you're going to, and I appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. And I just wish you the best in the rest of your days, and take care, and thanks again for all that you have done for us.
Again, thank you so much for the invitation. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you again.